Am I crazy for telling people to get the hell over it? Am I crazy? I just want to, if I were the captain, I would just be like, everybody, get over it. Okay? I'd be like, Spock, Chapel is not marrying you. Get over it. Erica, Gorn happens. Gorn happens. Everyone, get the hell over it. Okay? Did you hear that? There's something outside the ship. Shuttle to Kenfori. When I read that name, I thought, hey, this is pretty intriguing. What's that about? It's a bland name, but it's also kind of mysterious. Is it going to be like Shuttle Pod 1 from Enterprise? Who knows? Unfortunately, the shuttle means nothing, and Kenfori ends up being kind of unintriguing, as was the entire episode. Remember treaties, remember border disputes, remember problems like that, and how they always get in our way. Unfortunately, we can't do this because we have, we're on the edge of the Federation, we have a treaty with the Klingons, and yada yada yada, we need to do this in secret. We're back again with that stuff. If you're just showing up to Star Trek now, and you've only seen, say, these 3 episodes of Strange New Worlds, you must think that everything the Enterprise does is illegal. You must think that the Enterprise is just a toy. The Enterprise is Pike's plaything. And when it turns out that what we want to do is not legal by Federation standards or Starfleet in general, we just kind of fudge things and we lie. And we just go to Robert April and we say, hey, come on, April, can we just do it, please? And he goes, okay. Is that what you think? If you just kind of start at Star Trek now? Because we're doing it again. This one's about Klingons, and it's also about, spoilers, zombies. If you've been scrolling around at all, and you've gone to these different Star Trek sites, and you've accidentally imbibed some spoilers on this episode, you'd know that it was about zombies. This is the zombie episode. Why is every episode of Strange New Worlds like that? This is the musical one. This is the zombie one. This is the wedding one. This is the Gorn one. This is the blank episode, right? It's kind of getting like that. They're getting, we need to do a blank episode, and then we just force Strange New Worlds to accommodate it. We need to do a camping episode, and then we force Strange New Worlds to accommodate it. Although, I think that might be pretty cool. A camping episode. You know what else we need? You know what else we need for Strange New Worlds? We're going to have a sleepover episode. What? Well, we'll just write around it and force Strange New Worlds to work in that context. Why not? What's going on with Shuttle to Kenfori? Well, it involves a shuttle. Remember Batel? She was sick last time. She's sick with Gorn. We're not out of the woods yet. This is another episode where love is a big factor. Love. This is like the love. Wasn't there some kind of show like Love Boat or Love Ship or something like that way back in the day? That's what the Enterprise is turning into. See, it's about love. Love is the theme, I think, of this entire season. If I had to guess, I'd say that love is the overarching motif of this entire season going forward. And we're only 3 episodes in, but this is a 10-episode season, so we're almost a third through, in a sense. Batel is waiting to pick a new ship to be the captain of. She belongs on a new ship, as Pike says. And, it's kind of bittersweet. Oh, I don't want to see her go, but she belongs on a new ship. Man, imagine being able to pick a ship. What ship do you want? I know the one I want. I want the tiny, ugly one. What's the ugliest, nastiest piece of garbage you got? That's what I want. No offense to the ship I'm on right now. The ship is beautiful. Wink, wink. But Pike walks into his quarters, and it appears that Batel is on the floor, and he sees her legs sticking out. And I was like, man, if you saw this, were you thinking this? God, it'd be so funny if you just looked over and she was trying to reach something underneath the table. Oh, something just rolled down under there, Pike. I just got to get it. Man, reaching under and gets it. And the Pike is like, I thought the Gorn babies were back in your body killing you. Just imagine that. How funny that would be if they did that. But Strange New Worlds, a comedy it may be, but not for this episode. This episode has to be serious, and Batel is sick again. It turns out all that stuff we did 2 episodes ago didn't really save the day, and the Gorn embryos, or whatever they're called, are wreaking havoc with her body again. And Batel is just the image of sickness for this entire season, I guess. I'm ready for it to go away. I'm ready to drop the Batel thing. You're making me not care. I was starting to care, and you're making me not care. Good job, Strange New Worlds. I'm just not tuned into the whole love thing. I'm just not on that frequency. I don't know. Anyway, according to Spock and Mbenga, the only way to save Batel now is to get a rare chimera blossom from a place called Kenfori. I mentioned earlier about treaties and stuff like that, so what do you think the problem is? Just guess. That's right. The chimera blossom is only on Kenfori, and Kenfori is a place that the Klingons and the Federation have both jointly agreed to abandon after the war. So it's a restricted zone. We can't fly into it. And Pike doesn't even consider for 1 second. He's just like, all right, we got to go. There's no, debate, really, if this is a good idea. I think Batel says it's a bad idea, and he's like, no, we're not going with that. I almost lost you once, I'm not losing you again. And, come on. What would you think the standards for Starfleet would be if you just started Star Trek now? It's good that we have the benefit of, I'm going to assume you've seen Star Trek before, okay? It's good that we have the benefit of having seen a lot of Star Trek before, we know better, but there's some people who might not know better, and they're going to be thinking, they may guess that there's no one on this ship to consider. But you and I know, probably, that there's what was in TOS, it was 400 and some odd people. Let's just say a few hundred people in Strange New Worlds. There's a few hundred people on this ship that we're putting in harm's way, flying the Enterprise into a restricted zone where you know something's going to go wrong. Exclusively to save the captain's girlfriend? At least we take a shuttle. At least we take a shuttle. But you know the Klingons are going to find out about it. You know they're going to know where the shuttle came from. And you know they're going to tell everybody that, they're breaking the rules with this restricted zone stuff. And you know they're going to be there anyway. What's the point of these treaties if we're all just going to break it? What's the point of anything if we're just going to risk everyone's lives to save the life of the captain's girlfriend? And Spock never thinks to say the needs of the many. We're just going to drop that right there and get back to the plot, but I'm going to let that simmer in your mind for a while. Just think about it. Consider it for a moment, right? Consider that you're Ensign whatever, and you're thinking, wow, I can't believe the Enterprise is going to this very dangerous place to save the captain's girlfriend. I have so much faith in the captain now. I feel so safe. Just let it marinate in the back of your mind, okay? And then come back to this review right now. Listen, we're going to take a shuttle down to Kenfori, and because this is Strange New Worlds, and I mean, there's a long history of this in Star Trek, coming up with reasons why enemy ships can't detect us, we have a debris field of rocks and dust and things around Kenfori, so we can look like debris. Except that, that obviously makes no sense. Really? They're going to know. So Mbenga, even though Mbenga wanted to take Spock, that's important for later, Mbenga and the captain go down to Kenfori on a shuttle. Save the Enterprise, guys. Take a shuttle. And they're in this debris field, and they find a Klingon communications beacon that apparently the Enterprise couldn't see beforehand. I don't know. But they're close to it. They find it. And it's saying, basically, leave this place or die. And essentially what this is indicating is that there is a Klingon presence here when there shouldn't be. There's also a Federation presence here, which there shouldn't be. Right? That's us. We shouldn't be there. But the Klingons are kind of there anyway. Oh, whoops. Now we're embroiled in a lot of nonsense over Batel. Now we're in a lot of nonsense. We get down to the planet, ignore this communications beacon. We don't turn around and go back to the Enterprise and say we found the beacon. We keep going because we got to save the captain's girlfriend. And there's no life signs on this planet. Captain, I said no life signs at all. There's no living things anywhere on this planet. This lush, green, verdant planet has no life signs? Yeah, right. I think it has dead signs. As in zombies, as Pike is wont to say. Pike wants to keep saying zombies, the Z word or Z word, depending on where you live. And he just, Pike never misses an opportunity to squeeze in a childlike line that is just feels like it's below him at this point. They find these, I'll get back to that later, they find the Chimera Blossom, and Mbenga thinks, no, don't get close to that Mbenga Blossom, and he puts a rag over his mouth. A rag? We don't have anything else. If I were Pike, I'd be like, do you got something else in mind? No, we just got this rag. And I look closely at the rag, and it looks kind of like the material that the TOS environment suits would be made of. So maybe it's not just a rag, but I was looking at it, and I was like, it did not inspire confidence. I'll say that. That rag could be anything. It could be so advanced you wouldn't believe it, but not inspiring confidence, I don't know. They put the rags over their mouth and very carefully excise the Chimera Blossoms from this wall mount, I guess. And what it turns out, you see, is that this station here that was built on Kenfori, that was raided by Klingons who had no concern for safety protocols, was creating a hybrid plant between a moss and the Chimera Blossom that could be used to create an infinite supply of food, essentially, because this moss was perpetual. It wouldn't die. It would die and regrow, and it had some kind of properties in it that made it grow, we'll say uncontrollably, but that's the kind of thing that's good if you're making food. And so this hybridization scheme involved the Chimera Blossom. Hold on. We need that Chimera Blossom for Batel. And Pike puts two and two together. Oh, and Mbenga wanted Spock to come because you two were in on the joke. You guys were in on the joke, and I was out of the joke. You guys are trying to hybridize Batel with the Gorn. And then Mbenga basically admits to this, even though I think Mbenga, if he's a doctor, shouldn't he be able to, on the fly, come up with another lie? What's one more lie, Mbenga? Why not lie to the captain again? And just come up with a lie that's like, oh, no, we need it for cell membrane reconstruction therapy so that the embryos in Batel can get reabsorbed into blah, blah. Just, I'm almost doing it. Imagine how good Mbenga should be at tricking the captain with some medical mumbo-jumbo. But he doesn't do that. He more or less just admits that, yeah, we're going to hybridize Batel with the Gorn. And I don't know what Pike is thinking. Is Pike thinking that, like, she's going to just transform into a Gorn? Like, he freaks out. He throws his bag on the ground like a child. And he was losing his mind. He was now rethinking this whole scheme. He's been told on multiple occasions this is the only way to save her. He was already willing to give her an infusion of genetically engineered blood from Una. And we're not willing to go another step to save her. Like, Pike is, like, freaking out that he didn't find out. And that Batel is going to be a Gorn hybrid. Oh my god, get over it. Who cares? Who cares if Batel is going to be a Gorn hybrid? It doesn't matter. It's just, oh no, I'm a little bit Gorn. Oh, that sucks. Whatever. I was not feeling Pike this episode. Maybe you think different. This is just a personal thing for me. I just thought Pike was, like, I don't know, overly dramatic, childish this whole episode, and had a lot of dumb things to say. And this is one of them. You can't turn Batel into a Jorn. Are you crazy? Why didn't you tell me? Mbenga, the voice of reason. This is the only way. So we're doing it. Guess what? The colonists that were here before, and some Klingons, that were working on this Moss hybridization scheme, they got exposed after the Klingon attack to these spores and whatever, this pathogen, this agent, that thankfully is not in the air anymore, and has turned them into zombies. They're like moss zombies. Uh-oh. No life signs? There's a lot of dead signs, and they're all around us. And his tricorder, I don't know, you couldn't detect motion? Like, there's life signs, I get that, but there's no motion signs? You couldn't just look around and say, like, oh, something's moving over there, or there's 15 different things moving over there in that direction. You know what I mean? It was a little bit scuzzy, you know? It was a little bit smelly, you know? I was thinking, you know, maybe we could have from the shuttle seen something moving on the ground, but no, we're down there in the thick of it being attacked by zombies, and we look out the window, and the Klingons are here, and we never miss an opportunity to throw in some cool new Trek speak or what have you. The kind of dialogue where everything is ironic and nothing can just happen. We have to always express ourselves. We have to always add a little quip at the end. I'm not a big fan of it. Maybe you are. But Mbenga just says, "Oh, they found us." And then we look out the window and the Klingons have destroyed our shuttle. And then Pike's like, "They found us." Come on. Do people think that's funny? That kind of acting? It's like, how about what I would have said, you know what? Maybe after they look out the window and they see those things they see the shuttle get destroyed. What Mbenga and Pike could just look at each other and then look out and then have a quizzical look on their face like that and scratch their head. That would have been way cooler than saying, "They found us." Maybe this is because people are looking at their phones. Part of me is starting to wonder if the overly verbose dialogue that's descriptive of what's happening is just to accommodate people who aren't looking. Like, if I was just watching this show and I was also looking at my phone, my little pad, and I was like, I love scrolling, scroll. And I wasn't looking up, and I never heard the phrase, "they found us," maybe I would just think they were still fighting the zombies and not the Klingons. Right? Maybe we're accommodating people who are, like, looking at two different screens. I don't know. Am I crazy? Am I crazy here? But I don't think we need to describe every single thing we see. And that goes beyond just quips and stuff like that. It goes for thematic things as well. We don't need to be so verbose all the time. We don't need as much of a script as we do have. And the script that we do have is often not great. So that's too much of a bad thing. If something's going to be bad, I'd rather have less of it. Am I right? The Klingons are here. They're shooting at these zombies. It's zombies versus Klingons. It does look kind of cool. I thought it was kind of fun seeing these zombies. I thought they look pretty scary, and the effects were all right. I don't know. If you're really into these zombie things, maybe you think it looks like garbage. But I thought it looked pretty cool. And there's nothing wrong with seeing a Klingon zombie, because there is Klingons around in body form, dead signs, as it were. We do get found by these Klingons, though. They do fight some zombies away from us. We do throw our phaser away by trying to blow it up, which is par for the course for Star Trek, overloading your phaser to turning into a grenade. But I'd rather have the phaser than a grenade, to be honest, but I had the benefit of hindsight, and they didn't. We are caught by the Klingons and told to walk. Who am I talking to? The one holding the disruptor. And we get escorted out of the building on top of this tower. We're stuck here, and we need to get there to survive. And we failed to check in with the Enterprise. So they think we're basically in trouble. They think we're in the thick of it, and let me tell you, we are. But there's a twist here. You see, at this point, when we enter the third act of this episode or so, it feels like the zombies kind of become a background element. They just become set dressing. This episode is not really about the zombies, and they end up not being really that important, other than to just kill a bunch of Klingons. It seems like, I don't know, I got this weird feeling that we're really willing to just let Klingons bite the dust in this episode, like really more so than usual, because one Klingon survives, Bytha, and we're in a force field protecting this beacon at the center of this tower that we just barely managed to get to. So the zombies are outside of this force field, and inside the force field we have Pike and Mbenga and Bytha, Bytha being the Klingon, the Klingon in question. Pike gets stabbed in the leg by the Klingon, and he says, "Oh, I walked right into that." Who says that? Who in the world says, "I walked right into that," after getting stabbed in the knee? What is it? What do they call their knives? A TikTok? Is that what it is? I can't remember exactly. But now it's just Mbenga and Bytha. But there's a history you see here. Not that Mbenga knows. Bytha is the daughter of Dakra, who Mbenga killed in one of the best episodes of Strange New Worlds. I really loved it. Was it last season? Was it Shadow of War? Something like that. Anyway, to sum it up for you, you should go watch the episode. But to sum it up, a Klingon ambassador, Dakra, who was, for all intents and purposes, there to offer peace, turned out to be an old war enemy of Mbenga, and Mbenga freaked out and killed him, essentially. Yeah, Mbenga's still on the ship since last season. I never brought it up last time, but I was thinking it. Mbenga's still on the ship. Mbenga murdered a peaceful Klingon ambassador, a guest, on the Enterprise. And everybody knows it. And nothing happened. Like, nothing... Like, should have been gone for a while. He needs to be... Like, he needs to be picked apart brain-wise to figure out exactly what was happening. That is so crazy. I mean, oh look, we just finished the Klingon War. Ah, finally, here comes peace. Dakra, I know you did some bad stuff before, right? I know that. And not to relitigate that entire episode, but we have a chance for peace here. Can we please just forget it? Think of all the people we're going to save in the future, rather than the few we lost in the past. Shake hands? Nope, and Mbenga kills him. It's way more complicated than that. Go watch the episode. But suffice to say, this is Dakra's daughter, Bytha, and in Klingon logic, this makes sense. She was tracking, actually, Mbenga. The Klingons knew the whole time, and they knew Mbenga was on that shuttle, and Bytha came down there, I'm pretty sure, just to kill him, or fight him in some ritual combat, because Dakra, being one to offer peace to the Federation, was dishonorable to Bytha's house, okay? And Bytha wanted to kill Dakra, even though that was her father, in order to get honor back, okay? That makes sense. But she's been robbed of that chance because Mbenga killed him. So now she's killing Mbenga out of revenge because she couldn't get honor back by killing her father herself. It does make logical sense if you follow it all the way through and you kind of superimpose Klingon logic onto your brain. It actually kind of makes sense. And they do have ritual combat, and it was pretty cool. They got a strap between them so they can't get that far away from each other, and they're slashing at each other. They accidentally attack the shield generator, and whoops, Mbenga wins. But allows Bytha to survive. You knew it was going to happen. How many ritual fights do we have in Star Trek where the Federation person wins and just lets them live? Because that's the cool thing to do. Even for Mbenga. They let Bytha live. And only after Mbenga explains to Bytha that, yes, I'm telling you the truth. I killed Dakra in cold blood. His blood is on my hands, and I do it again. And he kind of admits that to her. And basically what we're saying here is that Mbenga ain't so nice. And according to Mbenga, in his own words, I lied to protect the monster that was inside of me. When he lied to Pike and said that was, oh, I wouldn't do it again. I'm fine. Ha, wink, wink. Everything's fine. No, it's not fine. Okay, it's not fine. They do end up getting off this planet because they're beamed out while Bytha is killed by the zombies, which... Is that honorable to you? I don't know. Whoop. We're switching to the B plot. How did they get beamed off? Well, that's a part of the B plot. You see, the Enterprise realizes that they're not checking in with their the time that they're supposed to check in to say that they were okay. Uh-oh, we need to actually take the Enterprise now through that dust field and not alert the Klingons. So we have to go slow. You see, the Enterprise is huge. We go slow, we look like debris or something, and the Klingons won't find us. No way. That's not going to happen, but it does happen, and we do get past the Klingons, even though we know the Klingons better now. We know that they were here looking for Mbenga. We know that the jig is up. Erica Ortegas, much to her chagrin, has to fly through this debris field at 1/7 impulse after arguing that they should go fast. They had a moment in the briefing room where they were talking about what we're going to do. Are we going to go in slow? Are we going to go in fast? Erica argues that they need to go in fast because we're way past the point of diplomacy or something like that. And Leanne has the gall to call this suggestion insubordination. I mean, I know that Erica can be rough around the edges, but insubordination? The suggestion insert into Una's mind? I don't know. That didn't look like... Am I crazy? That didn't look like insubordination to me in that first meeting. Just suggesting that we go faster? It's just a suggestion. Leanne, you're the one that brought up insubordination. What are you talking about? So anyway, Erica's plan is not the one we go with. We're going with the slow and steady Spock plan, and involves slowly getting to the planet in 4 to 6 hours, we'll say, and then dumping the Enterprise into the thermosphere of the planet to get the transporter signal for Mbenga and Pike, and then transport them up and get out with all the people on the ship. When Scotty says it could like fry the hull to save originally Pike's girlfriend. Remember how I said to keep that one in the back of your mind? Keep it in the back of one's mind. We're doing this. We're flying the Enterprise through the atmosphere of this planet, almost destroying it in order to save now Pike and Mbenga. But originally, this was all because of we need a flower to save Pike's girlfriend. Yeah, right. Okay. I'm off this ship. I'm glad I'm on this ship and not the Enterprise. We don't do stupid stuff like that here. Cue every single review I've ever done and seen the 3D intro to them and how we've done mountains of absolutely insane garbage. But that's beside the point. Erica has to fly through this at 1/7 impulse. He doesn't want to do it. She accidentally accelerates to 1/6. Now that's insubordination. And also interrupting Una when she's giving a command. Erica is getting pushy on this bridge here. Probably because she was attacked by Gorn and she can't handle it. Oh no, I lost a part of my hand to Gorn. Oh no, now I'm insubordinate. They do hit a rock or something like that, and she says it's pretty hard to move around here and at a snail's pace. 1/7 impulse. If we're going off the idea that impulse max is 1/4 the speed of light, 1/7 of that is like what, like 3-ish% the speed of light? Yeah, that's slow. If the planet is that close in visual range, and we're going 3% the speed of light, we are cruising, right? They should have said, we have to hit these rocks so that we don't look like we're not a rock. So therefore, we can't use the maneuvering thrusters to get around these rocks. And the maneuvering thrusters are not the impulse drive. We're cruising. We could just turn like that, right? We can translate around a little bit. We can, pitch, yaw, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. But that would make us look like we're something other than a rock, which we can't do, which we should have taken the time to explain, rather than just say we're going slow, when we're not. Objectively speaking, in relation to the planet, we're not really moving slow. Impulse is actually fast. People forget this, even 1/7 of it. But that's not really a thing that's going to affect the review score. That's kind of a nitpick. But we do fly the Enterprise through this planet's thermosphere. We do beam them out right before they get to the Klingon shuttle, I assume. I was completely lost kind of what was going on with Mbenga and Pike. What was their goal? They got the plant. They got to the top of the tower. The tower had a shuttle. I forget why they even went to the tower. Oh, was the tower the same building as they found the plant in? I watched it 3 times, and I could barely understand what was happening. Is that a good or bad sign? Does that mean I'm stupid? They do get beamed away, and Erica gets chewed out for her insubordination. That was genuine on the bridge. I ordered us to go to 1/8, and it seemed like for a moment you went to 1/6. What's up with that? What's up with that, huh? And she actually, surprise, surprise, she gets she gets busted down a little bit. Not in rank, but she has to go to back into command training, and she has a certain amount of time away from the bridge, I believe. But watch next episode. She's going to be right back on the bridge. I don't know what's going to happen next episode, but is this how we're going to shoehorn in Sulu? Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. But that's pretty much shuttle to Kenfori. And we give, I assume, this Chimera Blossom therapy to Batel. And Batel proceeds to get into a huge fight with Pike. Because why didn't you tell me that you were going to become a Gorn person? If you're going to become a Gorn person, I want to know about it. Okay? If we're all going to be in love, and we're all going to be Gorn people, I would have brought my freaking sleeping bag. I don't know what that joke means. But if you should have told each other to begin with, and I think if you had explained this beforehand, Pike made it more, amenable to the idea than you might have guessed, and he maybe wouldn't have had that breakdown on the planet where he threw his bag and smashed something super valuable, like the Krillin Neskos, or whatever that was called from TNG, which he did not have, but who knows what he has. He could have anything in there. Yeah, that's Shuttle Kenfori. Shuttle to Kenfori. Musically, I felt like I was deaf. It was just some thumping action soundtrack. Did not really indicate a lot of Star Trek to me. It was okay. It kept the pace with the action. Visually, it was cool seeing the Klingon zombies. That's pretty interesting. Of course, these new Klingons don't look anything like they should look. That exact part of where this is varying from TOS, I usually don't factor into the reviews because I'm just trying to be objective here and reviewing what we have, not what I wish we had. And how this episode works out on its own, I think, will comport with the review score I eventually give it. Thematically, it's about monsters, physical and metaphysical. You see, the monsters that we're fighting here, the zombies, are only the tip of the iceberg, right? What's really going on is that Mbenga is fighting, as he said, the monster that was inside him, the one from the Klingon War, that he says is very much still alive. You see, at the end of the episode, we do have a discussion between Pike and Mbenga, and of course, this mission is off the books, and of course, no one's going to find out about it. So Pike doesn't have a log to make when they're done, and Mbenga says, like, if you had to make a log, what would you say about what I did? And then Pike says, I'd say you told a story to save my life, which he did to Bytha. And there's a moment where Mbenga says, it depends on who I'm talking to. Am I talking to my friend or the captain? And I thought that was just such a breach. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to catch it, but I was thinking, man, that's a real breach of trust here. That's a real breach of hierarchy and trust and command. That you're really putting the captain on the spot. If you're friends with Pike, don't put him on the spot like that. You got to really think about the second order, third order effects of saying this. Hey, Captain, what are you going to write in your log about what I did today? And then they just say, I don't know. And then we say, well, it depends on who I'm talking to. You say, am I talking to my friend or the captain? Putting them on the spot like that. If they're your friend, I'm not going to put them on the spot like that. And if they're my captain, I'm going to say, you tell the truth. There's no good answer here. And I don't want Pike in that situation. And I thought Mbenga might be a little bit smarter to say something like that. I'll forgive everyone for missing it, but it's a really fine point. It was very weird to me for him to say it. It shook me. I was like really surprised that he would say something like that. Who am I talking to, my friend or the captain? And you don't say that to the captain. Okay? The captain should know better. Your assumption should be that the captain's going to tell the truth, and the captain would know better and when to use their better judgment to bend the rules here and there a little bit. But it was to make it so black and white like that. It was very weird for me. But that did happen, and Pike is essentially saying, this mission never happened. I risked everyone's life to save my own girlfriend, essentially. And I don't know what we're going to do with the ship's recorder, because we're going to have to go in there and fudge the numbers a bit so it doesn't look like we went to Kenfori. I don't know how this works, but it must work in some way, because I'm assuming we don't get caught, because we have 7 more episodes to go. Mbenga's still on the ship. Mbenga killed Dakra. Mbenga has told Pike, more or less, that he'll do it again. Even though the war is over. Even though it could cause an incident, which could lead to more killing. Very logical, Mbenga. That's very logical of you to say that. It's very logical. I mean, hey, he's telling the truth now. 2 lies and the truth. Hey, maybe the truth will set him free. As in, he's still going to be the doctor on the ship until McCoy shows up. Any day now, McCoy. So back to what we were saying with this episode as we wrapped up the review. Theme is monsters, both inside and out. Visually, kind of cool. Musically, very bland. Plot-wise, you heard my review. I could barely follow it. I had no idea why they were on top of that tower. I can't be that stupid. Did you know exactly why? Did you know the Klingons were leading us to that shuttle? I had no idea. I had to go back and rewatch it again to even remember there was a shuttle. Because some kind of shuttle came down. Didn't look like it belonged to the Klingons. Wink, wink. But when Erica was being talked down to by Una says that they were preparing to go to a shuttle, meaning that it was unnecessary to get there faster by transporting them out, which means you endangered us for no reason. And I said, shuttle? What shuttle? And on rewatch, it turns out there was a Klingon shuttle on top of that tower. I mean, it would have been cool to see that shuttle land there to begin with, and then see the Klingons say we need to get to that shuttle, and then I wouldn't have forgot why we're going to the top of that tower. But alas, the past is the past, and let's not cry over spilt milk. Shuttle to Kenfori is going to be getting a 5 out of 10. It just gets to the finish line for me. Lots of problems, but my problems with the episode were meta. It was problems with the chain of command, not the TNG episode. The problems were with Pike's reaction to things, the danger he put the Enterprise in, Erica's insubordination, which feels like it's contrived out of nowhere because Erica is mad at the Gorn still, and it's just the Gorn. It's just the Gorn. Am I crazy for telling people to get the hell over it? Am I crazy? I just want to. If I were the captain, I would just be like, everybody, get over it. Okay? I'd be like, Spock, Chapel is not marrying you. Get over it. Batel, you're going to be a Gorn or something. Get over it. I'm getting over it too. Mbenga, you killed that Klingon in cold blood. You're off the ship. Okay? Erica, Gorn happens. Gorn happens. Everyone get the hell over it. Okay? This episode, to go from a 5 to a 6, needs a rewrite. It needs to kind of like rewrite this so that our reason to go to Kenfori was official business. It had nothing to do with saving Batel, and the Klingons end up there in some other way, and we do have to fight these zombies, and so on and so forth. We get out, no one dead. Something like that. Yeah, it would have been more boring, but it would have made a little more sense. And that's basically what I think about Shuttle to Kenfori. Fun visuals and action can't save this from just being a middle-of-the-road episode. Hence the 5 out of 10. I'm Lieutenant Mark, and I'm going to see you next time I see you. So long.